Hi, it's Chris, and welcome back to the sea. I'm rocking the Rode mic today, so I apologize if this thing sounds way too damn loud. So this box is on its third trip around the world to me. I'm calling this third time's a charm. Mr. Brett is back with his Amiga 600 after some issues that happened during its reassembly. A couple caps were bent and pads were lifted. We lost audio in a channel.
It worked before you broke it.
I had it working. Oh, I got a mouse pad of an Amiga 600. Is that mine to keep? All right. Today we have a letter from Mr. Brett. Dear Dr. Chris, backstory: the Amiga 600, a series of unfortunate events. Round 1, you recapped the 600 motherboard and removed the 1200's modulator, and this one's. Round 2, you fixed the same A600 to make the additional 1 meg of chip and the trapdoor expansion work. Now for round 3, I reassembled the 600. After the expansion, slot repair, everything was working wonderful. Then I noticed audio was only coming out of the right speaker. Used ATK, determined that the 2 right channels were coming out of the left and right, and the 2 left channels are dead. I disassembled everything again, and I found that I folded the floppy cable ribbon under the drive, which compressed the capacitor, bent it over, lifted its positive pad on the motherboard as well as the trace.
Shit.
Whoops. The trace is going to need to be reattached with some adhesive ground side. It broke a leg. The capacitor stayed intact. Broken capacitor shorted against the other capacitors when the floppy cable ribbon pushed the capacitor over. Second capacitor is connected to the op amp responsible for audio output. I appreciate all you've done and apologize for my error. Hopefully you can track down the fault on this board that is causing it to lose the left channels and repair the capacitors that were pushed over. I hope to hear Paula singing with both left and right vocal cords. P.S. I removed the keyboard connector clip before sending. Good. Alright. Back in our Asus motherboard box is the 600. Oh, still got my industrial bubble wrap in there. Great. Hey, there's the stuff. Oh, yeah. That broke off, and it's right next to LF347, the op amp. Yeah, I went through some rounds here because I broke the keyboard thing, so I ordered another one and sent one. It was the wrong thing and sent the other thing, and it got lost in the mail, and 3 weeks later it showed up. The piles are down to my neck now. Hear any arguing upstairs? I have a hungry teenager, and I think it's spaghetti night that I don't eat. Take a look at Amiga PCB Explorer here, see what we're working with. Op amp was dirty on this thing when I first did it, and there might be some crust underneath. There is crust underneath 2 of the pads. This cap broke off due to the audio folding. I could hot air off the op amp, but I don't feel like dealing with Captain Tape and risking delamination in other parts of the board. So we're going to get our friendly neighborhood female, Lorena. I'm going to snip the legs off the op amp. What? How are you going to do that? And I don't know how I'm going to show you this because it's just flippin' tiny. It's literally right here. I'm going to attempt to show you this on camera, which for me is virtually impossible because I'm right-handed. I will go in with sharp snips and clip the legs. So I'll snip it and then I'll show you what it looks like underneath. Now you're going to notice 2 pins at the top of my crusty thumb, right in the middle. Got a little bit of on them. We're looking here and here. Barney agrees. Those 2 pins correspond to what? Close to it right is the second pin from the end, which was crusty. Alright, I want to debraid this. 575 degrees Fahrenheit. Reason is I just want to touch the pads lightly to get the solder off. I don't need to overheat them. Well, that explains why it's not working. That explains exactly why that's not working. Because there is no pad for this thing. And that blinky thing is right. This old girl, seen better days. Lifted pads, op amps with crust, missing pads. Remember when I first did this, it was really crusty and I just fiberglass penned it clean. And I think the damage got underneath and she was just done for. That explains why Right Audio isn't working. Yeah, that thing was rotted out. Under the chip, I didn't even see it there because the top of the chip was so crusty. This green, this is the right channel. It broke right there. And this pad fell off. So what I'm doing is I'm recreating the trace with metal, and I'm gonna glue it down, and I'm gonna reflow the missing piece. Took the daggone Rode mics off. Anyway, Mr. Jonathan is the savior of this Amiga. Northbridge 10-watt UV curable lamp, and the goop that makes it happen. UV green mask, but this is the epoxy stuff that hardens in 10 seconds. That's going to let me put legs back on. He also sent me this grinding pen, so I don't have to use that chisel. I'm not grinding pen on anything right now. Everything is in here? Yes. So Mr. Jonathan, thank you for always supporting me and helping me out with these little gadgets and doohickulars that make happiness occur. I just need to get a little tiny drop of this stuff. Supposedly it's like 10 seconds. I don't know. Just gonna let it sit for a second. I don't know. Right in the exact center of your screen. Do you see this dark spots? That's where I'm gluing the pad back down. So I'm just gonna sit it down there. Well, I can't sit it down there, but it sits on a cap. But I'll just let it rest there for I don't know how long it takes. Well, honk my hooter. You see that? You see that crustiness? So, what did I do? Well, I made a mess. Over here an op amp lamp, a little crooked. I had to run a wire from the resistor over around to that leg that was jacked up because I couldn't get anything to bite on it. Also, the other pad for the right side positive capacitor, they're bonded here and they're bonded here, right, left. That leg had been destroyed from electrolytic damage. Chip was fine, but the pad underneath wasn't. So I just bridged them, and they are making contact. They beep to these caps right here. The positive of the right pad and the positive of the left pad on the left side of the chip. We have continuity. We have a brand new op amp. I will clean it up. I hot glued the wire down so I could work, because I can't. If we had 4 arms, it would be great, because we can hold stuff while we're working on stuff. So I just use a dab of hot glue. Here's my hot glue gun. I just literally glue the glue stick back to the lighter. So I always have it, and I just snap it off when I'm ready to use it. And make a mess, and then I'll pick it off once I'm sure this is functional and good. Or I might leave a dab on there. One ripped trace, it was still there, but I couldn't save the other ones that were just toast. But I can lift the whole board up on that repaired trace. That's some strong epoxy. Okay, so we're ready. I have Amiga test kit in the drive. I don't know what version it is. We're going to energize. Amiga test kit. We're going to boot the Amiga. I have the audio hooked up to the 3.5mm splitter into the stereo headphone jack of the TiVo. It kind of makes a buzzing noise while it's charging, so I'm going to unplug its charging ability so it doesn't buzz. We can crank it up. It is literally a 3.5mm cable into this, and I just choose 3.5. So, we're going to go into audio. New op amps are loud. It sounds wonderful. It's all 4 channels. But, okay, I turned all the channels off. Okay, we're just going to do 500 Hz sine wave. Left channel, right channel. Left, right. See how the sound is uniform now? Left, right, and then right, left. Perfect, left and right. Music. Left, right, other right, and the final left. Okay, and then all of them together. Okay, I've turned that way down because this op amp is cranking. So, wire mod fix, 2 pads, a busted capacitor, and a busted pad on the capacitor. I was able to UV glue epoxy that pad that was just lifted back down. Corrosion caused the other two to separate from the board, where I had to bond, luckily, the right channel audio cap. They're bonded right and left on the front of the op amp there, so right, left. I bonded those two together because they were already bonded, so I just bridged the pins. And second side was okay. One wire with some hot snot to hold it in place. I'll clean it up and make it look a lot better. But she's functional. Please be careful with the reassembly of your glued cap, because if that sucker breaks off, the others are tight, everything's good. Your Amiga's fixed for the 3rd time. There we go. I'm also going to send you a Facebook or Messenger, and I'm going to show you that it works. So, thank you guys for coming along on this journey again. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.
What do you know from funny, you bastard?